cheerful greetings to all of our viewers. Today, we will be baking with the lovely Miss Miyako Schinner, a food expert, best-selling author, and renowned chef for the past 30 years. Let's take a step into Miyako's kitchen for a fantastic recipe, vegan basing tips, and sumptuous visual delights.
Welcome to Vegetarianism, Noble Way of Living. We have another show with, this time we're going to be dessert with a famous vegan chef, Miyako Schinner.
Well, Sophie, we're going to make a triple chocolate cake. Chocolate cake layers with a chocolate buttercream and a chocolate ganache. And, you know, a lot of people think that if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, you just can't have a really rich dessert. Right. So we want to prove them wrong.
Okay.
I really believe it's not just about health or saving the planet. It's also about feeding our souls. Sure. And food speaks to us. And we want to eat food that tastes good, that makes us feel better. Sure. Makes us happier, we live longer, we're healthier. So we're going to go ahead and make a totally vegan cake, no dairy, no eggs.
No dairy, no eggs.
And this also has no sugar in it. We're going to be sweetening it with maple syrup, so it's actually a little bit more natural. We've got 2 cups of whole wheat pastry flour. Now you can use unbleached white if you like. Okay. But I found that whole wheat pastry flour is almost indistinguishable from white flour in certain desserts. Okay. In here I have 1 teaspoon each of baking soda, baking powder, and half a teaspoon of sea salt. And the reason I use baking powder and baking soda is that the baking soda will yield a darker colored cake, almost give it a richer taste. Really? And I also have a cup here of Dutch processed cocoa, which will give it a deeper, darker color as well too. And we're just going to sift it all together. All right.
And this allows everything to be kind of lighter and not have any clumps.
That's right. We certainly don't want clumps. As you can see, there's always clumps when you're baking cake. So depending on how finely ground the whole wheat pastry flour is, there may be some bran that just won't come through the sieve.
Oh, that's what they put in it.
Yeah, this whole wheat pastry flour just happens to have more bran than others. If it's this big, we probably don't want to use it. Okay, so we'll get rid of that. All right, so that's all mixed up. All right. We're going to start out by using a half a cup of oil, either canola oil, this is grapeseed oil, and we're going to use 1 cup of maple syrup. Okay. Now, if you've used a measuring container, start with the oil first because your liquid sweetener will come right out. Okay. And we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. Okay. And we're just going to mix that up. All right. Okay. Now, chocolate cake tends to become tenderer if you use just water rather than soy milk. Okay. So I've got a cup of water, and I'm going to put half of that in there. And now we're going to add half of that flour mixture. And I'm just going to keep mixing it. I can keep putting it in here. Put about half. Okay, we'll mix that up. So it's all emulsified like that. Okay. All right, now we're going to add the rest of the water. Mix it up. And then we'll just pour the rest of that in there. You want to make sure that you mix it a little longer than you would with muffins. The reason you don't mix muffins very well is that they tend to get hard. And you want slightly larger air pockets with a muffin. But with a cake, the longer you beat it, the smaller the air pockets are, the finer it is. And then we're going to pour it into our cake pans, into 2 cake pans. Yeah, I lined the pans with baking paper, baking circles like that. And I also sprayed a little bit of baking spray. You just smooth it out like this.
So it's a thin layer, actually. Yeah.
But it will rise. Okay. Now, if you want, you can do this all in one pan and then just split it. That's right.
But that takes a little bit more art.
It takes a little more art, and if you're not confident, just do it in 2 pans. Into the oven they go, into a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes. Yeah. Now, I've already pre-baked these. These are the layers. As you can see, it's a very, very nice, delicate sponge layer.
Yes.
The next thing we're going to do is make the buttercream.
Can you smell that rich chocolate baking aroma filling the kitchen? Well, stay tuned. We'll be right back with Miss Miyako Schinner to whip up the chocolate vegan buttercream and melt on the chocolate ganache.